All right, today we're going to talk about a figure skating phenom who didn't just break records, she kind of broke the whole system. This is the story of Alysa Liu and how she figured out that joy itself could be a superpower. Let's dive in.
You know, we're all told the same thing, right? To get to the top, you have to grind. You have to endure this relentless, crushing pressure, no matter what it costs you personally. But what if that's just not the whole picture? What if there's another way?
And this quote from Alysa Liu, man, it just says it all. I don't need this medal, I needed the stage. That is such a radical shift in thinking. It's about letting go of the need for that external prize and focusing on the love of the experience itself. That's the mindset we're going to unpack.
Okay, so to really get how big of a deal her journey is, we have to understand where she came from. We're talking about the unbelievably demanding world of elite figure skating and the insane amount of pressure that gets put on a young prodigy. And just look at this trajectory. It's absolutely wild. At 13, she's the youngest ever US champ. At 14, she's landing jumps that were basically unheard of. By 16, she's at the Olympics. And then, poof, she retires. That last point just screams that there's a much bigger story going on here.
And here's why. Alysa grew up in a system that really only cares about one thing: results. It's a grind-at-all-costs culture where the psychological toll, well, that's just seen as the price you have to pay for a shot at greatness.
But here's where the story gets really interesting. That burnout wasn't the end. Her decision to walk away wasn't a failure, not even close. It was a strategic move, a really smart choice that gave her the space to completely redefine her relationship with skating and with the very idea of success.
16. Just let that sink in. At an age where most athletes are still just dreaming of going pro, she had the wisdom and the courage to say, you know what, this isn't for me anymore. She was mentally fried, and worst of all, the fun was just gone. Walking away wasn't quitting, it was saving herself.
So you've got these two totally different ways of thinking, right? On one side, there's the old school grind. Push through everything. Results are all that matter, and if you rest, you're weak. And then you have Alysa's path. Put your well-being first, realize joy is crucial, and understand that rest is just part of recovery. It's a complete flip.
So what did this break actually do for her? Well, it sparked this huge psychological shift. She stopped skating for the medals, for the scores, for everyone else, and she reconnected with the one thing that got her started in the first place. She just loved to skate. And this all comes down to two key ideas: intrinsic versus extrinsic motivation. Let's break that down real quick. Extrinsic is all about the outside stuff, the trophies, the money, the praise. Intrinsic is the motivation that comes from within. You do it because it's fun, because you're curious, because it just feels good. Alysa's whole comeback was about shifting from extrinsic to intrinsic.
Okay, so how did she actually do it? How do you make that switch? For her, it all came down to one word: control. She took back her own autonomy. She started choosing her own music, designing her own routines. Suddenly, skating wasn't a high-stakes chore anymore. It became her way to express herself. And that, right there, changed absolutely everything.
And this is where we get to the heart of it. Her joy wasn't just some nice little side effect of her comeback. No way. It became her secret weapon, her competitive edge. It's a whole philosophy that people are now starting to call funmaxxing.
Yeah, funmaxxing. It's all about putting the experience first. It means you're focusing on finding the joy, the curiosity, the playfulness in what you do, instead of just obsessing over the final score or the outcome. For Alysa, this completely melted away her anxiety and just let her natural talent flow.
So if you boil her mindset down, it's really built on these four pillars. First, autonomy, the power to make her own choices. Second, a joy-first focus, skating for fun, which makes her more resilient. Third, identity, knowing she's more than just a skater, which protects her mental health. And finally, rest, seeing breaks as a tool to prevent burnout and keep going long-term. It's a powerful formula.
And look, the really cool thing here is that this isn't just for Olympic athletes, right? This is a mindset that any of us can steal and apply to our own goals, whether that's at your job, in school, or even just a hobby you're passionate about. So, want to try it? Here's a simple 5-step way to start. First, ask yourself, what part of this do I actually enjoy? Then take real breaks. They're for recovery, not quitting. Try to reframe pressure from I have to do this to I get to do this. Remember, your job title or your grades don't define you. And finally, actively look for little ways to make things more playful and fun every day.
So what's the big lesson here? It's that we don't have to choose between being successful and being happy.
Alysa Liu's story proves that peak performance and real joy can absolutely exist together. Real winning isn't always about the medal, it's about the journey.
So I'll leave you with a question to chew on. Where in your own life can you move the goalposts? What's one thing you do where you could redefine success as simply enjoying the process? Because finding that, well, that's the first step to unlocking your own superpower.